the magical IKEA. So I am parking. I'm not driving, and I'm not going to look at the scope until I'm parked. But I wanted to get it started before I park. So I'm going to be parking. I'm not looking at the comments, I promise. I'm a decent human being, and I won't do a car scope while I'm driving. But I got to find a good little patch of shade because it's kind of warm here. Which I am not complaining at all, don't get me wrong. But so I wanted to talk about this idea of experience. Okay, I'm parking, I promise. Okay, cool. Yay, I parked. I'm leaving my air conditioning on because it's hot. Hi everybody, how are you? Actually, yeah, I have to leave my car running, right? So I want to talk about this idea of experience. I can't like read when it's like, hi. Hey Brenda, hi Tavia. Wish I had that weather. Yeah. So I am running some errands right now, but I was thinking about, hey you, how are you? I was talking to a friend earlier and we were talking about experience. I feel like weird leaving my car on, so I'm gonna put the windows down. But and actually that means everybody can hear me talking, right? But I was talking about it's horrible weather in New York. Oh no, I'm sorry. It'll be good weather. Will be here soon. I'm going day 2 on my TKT because I freaking love this shirt so much. I don't want to take it off. But anyways, I want to talk about the idea of experience, and really doesn't matter if you have a lot of experience or not. So because I feel like this is a big thing and a big deal. Kind of happening right now, that there's a lot of people popping up and starting businesses, right? And so there's a lot of competition. Yeah, it's I don't know what it is now, maybe 70 or so here, just guessing, but of course that's what we pay our premiums to live in a place with nice weather. So I'm sure New York's expensive too, but anyways, you know, when you're hiring a professional, or even if you are a professional, like, is there a difference between people who've been in business for like 2 years or 5 years or 10 years or 20 years or 50 years? Like, does it make a difference? And it's a good question, honestly. Like, it's something that I'm thinking about because I do have a lot of experience, and I'm like, is there a difference between hiring us and hiring someone that's been in business for like 5 years or 2 years or whatever, 1 year or whatever? Because it's kind of, you start to think about, like, really, what does it matter if they know how to do it? Why does it matter how long? Like, once you learn, does it really matter if you have more experience than that, if you have more life experience than that, if you've been in business longer? Does that really matter? And I can't really tell you if it matters totally to you or not. It depends on what you're looking for. It depends on what you need. But what I can say is what people with more experience have over people that don't have less experience. And so I started thinking about this idea of experience and what does it mean, and why does it matter? I think you can hire someone a few steps ahead of you, like 6-figure versus 5, yeah. But what is the difference? Like, what kind of things how does it make a difference if someone has more experience than you, or has more experience than the next person? So, like, let's say you're comparing 2 like services and you say, okay, this person's been in business this long, this person's been in business that long. What's the difference? And so in order to figure out that question, or that answer, I had to really think about, okay, what are people that have been in business longer than me? What are people that are more experienced than I? Like, what do they have that I don't? And I started thinking about it, and it's very similar, I think, to age, right? Like, just like wisdom, right? People that have been in business for like a while or whatever, like age and what matters to them, and what matters to someone like a teenager, right? Like, I was thinking about how teenagers, like, it's like the end of the world when something bad happens, right? Can you guys hear me okay? There's like this like bird like crowing or whatever. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. But like teenagers, it's like the end of the world, right? Yeah, this hurts, so I guess you guys can hear me. Teenagers, like, something happens, it's like the end of the world, right? And like people that have more experience, they're like, you know what? I've been there, done that. It's not the end of the world. It's no big deal. And so I think the number one difference between people who have more experience versus one maybe has a little bit less experience is perspective, right? Is perspective, right? So, you know, having experience and being been there, done that, going through things. Perspective is such a big game changer, right? People that have more experience, they've been through this stuff before. They're not so quick to get shook down or like to spook, right? They've been through it, they've done it, so they have a different perspective than people that have been in business for less time. The other thing is that I think is really important is longevity. So I totally appreciate when people have been in business for a while, because I'm like, you know what? They've seen it all. They've been through the ups and downs. They've seen the market in all of its glory. It's the bubble burst, right? They've been through it. They're like, they have those battle scars, like those battle wounds, right? Of business, and they've been there. They've done that. And they've kind of seen it all, and nothing really freaks them out anymore. So I think about that, like with longevity. But I think the third thing is that they have is that they think about the future, and they see the long game. It's not just the short game. So I think that people that have less experience are very short-sighted in that they haven't really been through the past, so they can't see the future. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you haven't been through a lot and you don't have a lot of experiences in business, then you don't necessarily think about the future, and you don't think about those things. I'm willing to pay for someone who has more experience for those reasons. Yeah, because like they will think of it because they've been there, that if they're thinking about your future, they'll ask you questions that are relevant to your future that you don't even know yet, right? Like you haven't even gotten to that place yet of your business where you even thought of those things. You're like, oh yeah, gosh, I hadn't even thought about that. And they're in that place because they've been there, done that, whatever. They worked with people who've been through that before, and they know. And so they're going to be very future minded, and they can future proof your business and think, okay, what are those things that you're going to be thinking about in 5 years? What are those things you're going to be thinking about in 10 years? And how can we create systems and processes and things in place now that will really propel you forward in a faster and quicker way? So those are some things that are really important that they have to kind of give you, because I think people that have been in business for only like a couple of years or so, or even maybe less than 5 years, they haven't really seen how it plays out, right? Like they've never finished the game. They've never been there to know like how things change and how things shift. They're kind of really living in the now and like trends and things that are happening now, but they're not really looking ahead to the future. So I think that's one thing that's really, really important to think about. And that's something that I ask all my clients about. I'm like, where would you see your business, or what are those big like pie in the sky dreams that you have for the future? And let's plan for those now, because if we're not planning for them, you're not planning for them, right? And I know that you're going to need these things or whatever, or maybe your business is going to shift a lot faster than you think it's going to. So it's something to think about. So those are my, was that 4 points maybe? I don't know. I was just literally thinking about it while I was driving. But I think, planning for like future proofing, planning for the future, being able to see the big picture in the future, longevity, like the fact that they've been in business for this long and they've been there, done that, they've gone through all this stuff, have earned their stripes. And then of course, just perspective. They have a greater perspective to see, things when things are a big deal or when they're not a big deal, right? They're not going to freak out over little things, and they know what to do, and they're cool and calm and collected, and they don't spook easily. So those are the things that you might want to think about if you're thinking about hiring somebody that has a little bit more experience versus someone that has less. And maybe none of those things matter to you. It depends on the context. That's why I said kind of in the beginning that it just depends on like your context. But hope those were helpful for you. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Shoot me an email. And I'm heading into IKEA to run some errands and get some things for my kids. But I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for joining. Bye. Hope you're staying warm. Bye, guys.